Hey, Alana.
Hey, Ashley.
It's almost harvest time.
I know. You know what it reminds me of?
What?
The poem My World is Pyramid by Dylan Thomas.
Oh, yeah, because these plants don't have a lot of time either.
I know. What a coincidence. I actually have it with me.
Do you really? Wow.
I
Yeah.
like to garden with poetry.
Yeah, well, his world might be pyramid, but my world is garden.
I totally know what you mean. But I mean, like, what is the meaning of it?
Well, I guess it's just that time is really insignificant. And if you look here in that garden, you can see how insignificant life really is.
I can. But what imagery, like all of these vegetables, are in the poem?
Well, it talks about the mother being compared to Eve and the father being compared to Adam. But it also talks about purgatory because the baby didn't have a chance to live. So it's going through both heaven and hell to try to find its place in the world, but it can't yet.
What a nice contrast. I like how they used an image of the original sin to help push along the meaning. But, oh no.
See, we're all just powerless against the wind.
Exactly, which means we're powerless against nature and things that we have no control over.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, do you think there's any other, metaphors?
Well, if you look at it, if the title is saying pyramid, so I'm assuming that pyramid is how the child actually sees life, how the people who he's seeing that are dying are closer in age when they get older, but there's very few like him.
Oh, what makes you say that?
Well, it talks about the example of Egypt and how it was worn, and that there were a lot of people in the afterlife that were wearing armor that was torn apart, but also that it talks about there just being kind of older people around, and that he feels really out of place.
Right, like the child is moving through nothingness.
Exactly, and that's all that he's ever been able to know, that nothingness, because he never got a chance to live.
That's all he ever experienced.
Absolutely. And that's all that these poor weeds are experiencing right now.
I mean, since I have it right here, would you mind telling me just some more literary devices that compare our garden to the pyramid?
Well, I mean,
like the circle of life, right? How all of these vegetables have a day where they're planted and a day when we harvest them, much like a baby, wouldn't you say?
Exactly. And if you look at the who blows death's feather, that example is actually repeated. And towards the end, the author actually says, I blow death's feather, which can be shown to mean that we all have power over our own destiny.
What would you say the theme of this poem is?
I guess that humanity is limited in importance and significance, and that we must make the most of our time here on Earth.
Would you say it's because of the baby imagery?
Yeah, actually, I think the extended metaphor of the baby is used to show just how powerless we all really are. Now, how can we ever live if we don't let ourselves be born?
It's much like our vegetables. How can we ever harvest them if we never plant the seed?
Exactly.
Well, I have to get back to class, Ashley, but thanks for gardening with me.
Thanks for helping me.
Of course. I can't wait to see your garden.
Oh, yeah.
Like the Garden of Eden with Adam and Eve.
Bye.